Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Crypto Hipster Podcast. This is your host, Jamil Hassan, Crypto Hipster, where I bring you founders, entrepreneurs, executives, thought leaders, artists, and today I have a sports guy with me. This is gonna be really cool. So I met this man at Consensus a couple weeks ago, and I look forward to this conversation. His name is Kyle Post. He is a mod. He's one of the top token holders at Karate Combat, and he's due to fight at IFC3 in Singapore in September. Let's welcome Kyle. Kyle, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, everybody. It's awesome to be here. It was great meeting you down at Consensus. What a great event that was. Of course, we had Karate Combat 46, one of the best events we've seen so far. I assume that you made the event there.
Massive turnout. So
Amazing, eh?
it was a massive turnout. And that was a great week, and I look forward to maybe you'll be there next year. I hope.
Absolutely. Yep. I'm actually located in Toronto, so it's going to be a big event for me here. We also have like a few big things happening in my area at that time. So we're going to try to connect all those events together. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to Consensus 2025. We also have a big event going on here. I don't know if you're going to make it in Toronto, but in August 13th and 14th, we have a big blockchain conference in Toronto. So I'll get you that invite as well. Make sure you know what's going on.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's not a construction season in August, right? In Toronto. So
It's always construction season in Toronto.
people be cool. So I want to ask you first, what's your background, and is it a logical background for what you're doing now?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a martial artist. So I started martial arts when I was 12 years old. Started fighting at 19 in Muay Thai. Got my Brazilian Jiu Jitsu purple belt. And yeah, opened my own gym when I was about 25 years old called Fear the Fighter Training Academy. We partnered up with the Mac Desi's with a t-shirt company as well, did all sorts of sponsorships for fighters. Things a little went sour just before COVID, and that's when I jumped into Bitcoin to protect a few of my assets when I was losing my gym and things like that. I put it all into Bitcoin, and Bitcoin blew up for me. So a lot of my focus switched over to blockchain and Web3 things as time rolled on, and I kind of reverted back to being more of a silent investor and a fighter myself. I kind of wanted to finish my career as I'm getting a little older as just a fighter instead of a coach and an entrepreneur business owner. So I just kind of do some Web3 venture capitalist investments to kind of keep my time frame free so I could travel gym to gym and train and create some content.
For the I'm going to ask you this. It's not part of the questions that I plan on asking you, but there are a lot of 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 13-year-olds who are on the fence about starting martial arts as self-defense. What encouragement do you have for them?
Well, it's probably the best thing that I've ever done in my life. I was a big soccer buff when I was a child. So I was real athletic type, but I was getting picked on in high school quite a bit. Being like, believe it or not, I'm 6'4" now and 200 pounds, but I was the smallest kid in high school. I wrestled for 90 pounds and under in grade 9, 10, and 11. I got pretty good by grade 11. I wasn't, the best of the best. I was, probably, winning 50% of my matches. But in grade 12, I came back and I was 6'2" and 170 pounds. I just went through this amazing growth spurt. And that's really when I started taking martial arts seriously in my senior year of high school. I started Muay Thai with one of the other co-captains, and my life completely changed around that time. I just became, the most popular kid in school from the most picked on kid in school. And yeah, just walking around with a different outlook on life, just being able to protect myself, having confidence to do anything that I wanted. I was also, a high level dancer as well, and had started my own like dance crews and opened for guys like Chris Brown and Missy Elliott that came to town. So yeah, I had like a lot of things that just kind of attached to getting to know people in the martial arts world and traveling around, and just the camaraderie shift that you gain there as well too, the friends that you make of like-minded people gathering together it's a wonderful thing. So if you could join any sport, that's really what it's all about, is joining something that you really love doing, having camaraderie, and just working really hard at something that you can be proud of. So if martial arts isn't your thing, that's okay. Pick something though. Pick, playing an instrument, or you're learning calculus, or learning how to code. Martial arts was for me. I was super, super good at it. I was winning the trophies, bringing home the medals. So it was something that was very encouraging for me and kept me out of the trouble that I was getting myself into here and there. And when I had a fight or a tournament booked, it was eating the salads every day, getting the green teas in, making sure all my vitamins and sleep was in. I'm stretching every day, so it definitely puts you on the track to positivity in your life, and gives you goals and bars to reach. So yeah, it's something that everyone should consider. And if, like I said, if not martial arts, treat anything like martial arts. If it's painting or anything, just pick something and get good at it.
Great. Thank you. My 14-year-old has got into rowing and crew this past year, so he loves that. So
Amazing.
yeah. So I want to talk about karate combat. What is that all about, and including the up only system?
All right. Karate Combat was born about 6 years ago. Although Karate Token is only 1 year old now, the league developed first. And a good friend of ours, he's still doxxed. We call him Only LARPing. Him and his college roommate Adam, they got together and started off Karate Combat as kind of a project to get into Web3. So they always had the idea of turning a karate league into a governance token. However, it took them a little bit to build the league. So about a year ago, Karate Token was born off the league. They finally had I'd say about 40 events or so, or maybe 35 events or so, with really high level karate guys. Like, they scoured the globe to find high level black belts. They only invited black belts into it, and kind of created a hierarchy system of who needed to fight. They got the titles involved, almost created this league. And then they introduced karate tokens. So 77 billion tokens were born on Ethereum, and 33 billion tokens were born on Hedera. So there was a web application built that you can visit on your computer, your PC, and there was a mobile application built that you can use on your Android or Apple device. The Android and Apple device is run on Hedera. The web is run on Ethereum. So that's the differentiation there. You can also buy these tokens on several exchanges to use. So the token now, being incepted, governs the rules of the league, of course, within the unified mixed martial arts rules. So anybody that are holding these tokens now has a chance to go on the governing website and propose a rule change. For example, we've changed the size of the gloves. The gloves started off at 6 ounces. I guess that wasn't enough blood for everybody. We changed it down to 4. And it happened within, the rule was proposed within a few weeks. We all voted on it. It's token weighted. Whoever's holding the most tokens kind of has a little bit of weight in their vote. But as we go on, of course it spreads out a little bit over the holders as the value gains, as more people comes in. It kind of becomes more of a fair governance system. However, right now, there's been about, I'd say 10 or so rule changes to the league, and a few rule changes actually to the token itself. So the token model is also governed by the token holders. So there's a few different utilities involved with the token that are attached to the actual league. The third utility that I'd like to talk about is my favorite utility out of all of it, and that's the leaderboard. This is underlooked by everybody because it was kind of just introduced a few months ago. Because the league is actually not owned by anybody, it's an ownerless entity and governed by the token holders. There's a board that oversees the governing site, but they really have promised the token holders that they're going to implement to their best ability everything that the token holders propose. So the leaderboard is basically the kickbacks that the owners would typically get in a sports league, the box seats, the best seats in the house, they're going to kick all of that back to the token holders themselves. So I'm one of the top token holders, but you have to actually play the game Up Only Gaming to get on this leaderboard. The more tokens you win, the higher up on the leaderboard you get, and the more kickbacks you're going to get for playing. So the top 10, those guys get free VIP pit side tickets to every single event. They're flown out. They get a fighter hotel stay, the same as all the fighters are staying at. They get tickets to the after parties. They get special invites to all sorts of different pre-fight conferences and events. They get the full gear from head to toe, the sweaters, the gi, the belts, the gloves, everything basically that karate has. They get the whole package. So you can imagine that the value that that would add. UFC, one VIP ticket is $2,000 to sit, and you're still 15 feet back from the cage. If you guys would like to scour my Twitter, I'll show you how close you actually get in the pit. You get splashed by blood and sweat. It is not like seeing an MMA fight behind a cage. This is a much better wall of view, and a much more valuable seat, because I got to touch Joe Rogan. He walked right by me, shook my hand, said my name. I got to walk around the pit. You're not at special seating. You get to walk around with the who's who of everybody. So for me, I'm kind of building my social media influencer followers. So for me, this is almost a ticket straight to the top of stardom, really, because I get to go to every event. I get to rub elbows with all the social media influencers that are already pit side, that already have huge followers. I get to see guys like Joe Rogan, potentially talk to him, potentially interview him, right? Like it's a big gift is what they're giving their token holders. And I think that it's one of the most valuable things that people should consider when playing Up Only Gaming.
I think everybody should go right now and start playing. After this podcast, of course.
Absolutely. You could download the app. You get 88 free tokens just for signing up, so you could try it out for free. You also get to buy it right in the app as well, which is nice. You can hit the buy button on the top of the app, and it brings you right to like a credit card purchase. So really anybody, even if you don't have Web3 experiences, can play Up Only Gaming with no real loss at risk, no real risk of loss. Of course, the token price can go up or down. We are in a pretty huge down spout right now. So, me being the VC guy, and of course, not financial advice, but it's probably a pretty decent time to pick up some more tokens here.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you and not give financial advice and tell people that the prices are cheap. So, right now. So, how are you? Well, you just said how you're leveraging Web3 tools, Hedera for speed for iPhone.
Yep.
But your goal is to bring fans and athletes closer together, and
That's correct.
How are you achieving it? What's
Well, Up Only Gaming has really achieved that for me, especially. I didn't know any of these fighters, but now I could tell you everything about these fighters. And that's because I went back and I watched all of the old events with new eyes, not just, I think I watched them, they were coming out every few months, maybe 3-4 months. I think I watched them live at the time, but I went back as like an investor in these guys, because I was going to make 10%, potentially up to 30 or 40% more of my tokens if I got my guess right. And that's what was really important, is that you don't lose anything on your bet, but you win something when you bet. So you want to get your bet right. And that way I went back, I looked at all these fighters, I gave my own kind of odds. Being a martial artist myself and a huge MMA buff, I watch every MMA fight. And I also used to bet on UFC fights religiously. Now I just put my money on Karate Token because, hey, I can't lose. I'm only winning. And I get to obsess over fighting is a little bit more, because these are brand new fighters that I've never seen before. It's a new format of fighting with this pit walls. So The aggressor is really the one that is going to come out on top here. So there's another little element that I've kind of noticed in betting with Karate Combat. So my record right now is around 78%, my betting record. And that's really because I've kind of figured out that the aggressive fighter is the one that's going to come out on top here, and that's really how I've been betting. Even though there's been a lot of 20% to 80% huge swings, that sometimes that 20% guy is actually the favorite. But these bettors are just betting kind of blinded. So it's not like traditional sports betting. There's a huge opportunity. It's kind of what I'm saying right now is there is a big opportunity for people that are knowledgeable in sports betting to kind of make a good stake here. But that involves in becoming a super fan by watching all these old fights and really doing your homework on these guys. And in doing that, you get emotional when you're watching these fights because you've watched all the tapes of these guys, you've watched the weigh-ins, you've seen how dehydrated they get and all their pre-fight interviews, and yeah, you become a super fan that way. So having this, this sports app that you can bet, you can't lose, it's creating super fans really, really quickly in my opinion.
I did see, the audience at Consensus, and I did, see the audience. It was in Thailand in 2004 at the kickboxing, and then I did go to Barcelona once in 2001 for a soccer match, and I see the level of excitement and enthusiasm, and it's pretty cool. And I don't see that same level of enthusiasm with the traditional sports like baseball and football anymore.
Right.
Maybe it's just me, but why is karate and combat sports more popular now? It looks like with the younger audiences, with Gen Z audiences that are not tuned into old sports. What's the lay of the land?
Yeah. The lay of the land, I think is pretty simple. We'll bring it more to combat sports. I'm going to say that paywall is a really big difference between karate combat and all the other sports leagues. Karate combat, you get to watch this thing for free on so many different streaming channels. They encourage streamers to do their own live stream with their own commentary, which is unheard of by any other sports league. Really, like UFC does a good job of pulling people down that are doing that kind of thing. You can't show the image of the fight that's happening. You can only see the podcaster's face. So a lot of these big name podcasters love that there's no paywall here, and the action. The action is made for the fans by the fans. It's a shorter period of fight with higher quality fighting, meaning there's more interaction of punches and kicks and such. We're going to get more highlight reel knockouts. We're going to get more highlight reel moments. And these guys have done their due diligence with social media content. They've hired some of the most popular Web3 and Web2 influencers to be pitside making their own content. And it's really appealing to the younger crowd. And I also want you to remember this thing's called Karate Combat. Karate is really known here in North America as kind of the entry to martial arts. It's the younger demographics that are doing karate. And then as you mature, as you get a little older, you start learning, oh, Muay Thai, oh, there's wrestling, oh, there's these more mature sports, right? So the younger guys, they're all used to doing karate, growing up. So that really is kind of almost I think a selling point to the younger crowd that already have done a little bit of karate growing up. And I also think it's also good to make karate great again by making this a full contact sport like mixed martial arts. People are going to look up to karate again. And also it's going to keep some karate studios accountable for doing a full contact class and learning these techniques that work in real life and are effective in karate combat at a high level.
Cool. I'd never taken karate, but I did one time when I was in China for a day take a 4-hour training in Kung Fu. And or like me being thrown around a parking for 4 hours. So but I like that you said about streaming. As this age demographic is changing, that affects media. That affects the future of media, and even to the point where traditional sports leagues may no longer exist, right? How do you help with the future of media and entertainment streaming? I mean, you mentioned streaming, but how do you see the future?
I think the future is really on X, it's on Twitch, it's on Discord. So we've encouraged a lot of groups that work on our open IP license agreement to start doing, you know, those live streams in their Discords. I'm actually building a different product as well on top of the IP license agreement for the fighters. It's an NFT project where the lion's share is going to go towards the fighters. It's also attached to a meme token built on Hedera, so it does like a buyback and burn for that community. But what I've been doing is I've been sharing Hedera news for about a year and a half now on Twitter Spaces. So I think Twitter Spaces is like a very popular place. And what I've done is I've created a Twitter space dedicated to having the fighters and the fans connect. So at 5 p.m. every single day, Monday to Friday, people can come on, talk about Hedera news. Mostly we have, a good portion of the developers on the retail side of Hedera. Of course, there's the governing council side and there's the retail side to that token. We have all of the retail guys on pitching their products like Sauce, H Suite, the dexes that are built, all the NFT projects built over there. So most of the users and investors on Hedera come on our show daily. So with our project and that platform, we've also added a slew of all of the fighters that are now going to be coming on the show to talk about their experience. They're also some of the big dog token holders in karate because they win a big portion of karate tokens. So we think that connecting the developers of Hedera with the big dog holders of karate tokens would be a very positive thing. So that's one thing that I'm doing kind of as a side project to connect that whole community together, to kind of bring on other, like from people from Solana and Ethereum over to kind of show what Hedera is kind of made of. There's a reason why karate chose Hedera to be built on. It's one of the most secure, fast, and best networks that really exist out there. So we'd like to showcase that by bringing all these fighters into our X Space portal to connect with everybody.
Good. So yeah, so I know you have your token is, actually I thought it was just, two things. That was threefold. The NFTs.
Yeah.
So you really have a robust ecosystem for your token, and not just the speculative, right? So how can people use, if it's not your token, your example to help drive their projects and their businesses forward, using your model?
Yeah. So there's an open license IP agreement that anybody can use for Web3 and Web2 products for Karate Combat. So if you contact us via Discord, you can get all the details on that. It's basically 20%. So whatever 20% of the revenue looks like goes back to Karate Combat. And basically you can build any product, whether it's a Web3 game is really what they're encouraging, NFT projects to help the fighters or help Karate Combat as a league, or say you just want to add, karate characters to your existing platform or your existing NFTs. Anybody can do that basically by adhering to the open license agreement. It's a pretty simple process. You just contact Only LARPing, they'll send you the agreement, couple signatures, away you go. Yeah, just like any traditional contract, except for I don't think they really say no to many things. They're really starting to build a lot of different partnerships. I can name about 10 that have already built on this IP license agreement. And it's all sorts of, it's everywhere. We see stuff on Solana, Ethereum. We have Bitcoin ordinals that are doing stuff as well. So lots of different projects coming over to see kind of what Karate Combat's doing.
Very cool. I like it a lot. So that's part of the alpha. You said when I met you, you're going to come on my show and drop some alpha. I love the alpha you dropped so far.
Yeah.
What other pieces of your roadmap do we look forward to seeing in the near future?
Karate staking. So in order to combat the, I'd like to say it's on the background, we kind of call it a snapshot dump. People buy a lot of karate token right before the snapshot dump afterwards. They're going to add a staking mechanism to Up Only Gaming. So it's not going to be like traditional staking. You're still going to be voting on who your favorite fighters are. It's just going to be open for longer periods of time now. And this is going to encourage a larger reward for people who participate in that. So I think that that's a huge alpha that's being built in the background. The token holders voted on it, and there's a working group building that product out right now as we speak. We also are going to look forward to Karate Combat in Miami. It's going to be at Universal Studios mid-June. The card's going to be dropping any freaking second now, so watch the Karate app. It should be there probably within the next week or so. That should be an amazing event, especially with the visual graphics being at Universal Studios. So I really look forward to that event.
That's next June, not
this month.
June.
Yeah.
Wow.
End of the month.
Awesome. Yeah. Wow. Oh, if I can go, I will. So
yeah, I believe they changed the Sao Paulo, Brazil event to Orlando, Florida.
Okay. Very good. If you're in Orlando later this month, please check out this. Please check out the event. It's going to be awesome, right?
Yeah, so, it'll be KC47.
Cool. I'm excited about what you guys are doing. It sounds wonderful. Yeah, and I want to thank you very much for talking to me today, coming on the show. And I have, one last question for you, and it's how can people find out more information about Karate Combat, about you, about playing Up Only Gaming? How can they start, being part of this ecosystem and process and everything that's have to offer?
Best way to get started, guys. Everything is on that Karate Combat app. So just go to your app store on your phone, download the app. If you don't have a phone and you're a little outdated, you can just go right on Karate Combat website, and you can play right on the mobile app. You can get started by filling up with karate tokens on your MetaMask, or in your Blade wallet, or in your HBAR wallet. Anybody can play it. Just watch out for those snapshots. They're 48 hours before the event. That's a very important thing to remember. Don't wait till the day of the event to buy your tokens and load them up. You need to have those in right before the snapshot. Yeah, I think that's it's as simple as that. Just make sure you got your karate tokens loaded up in your wallet, ready to go before that snapshot.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you very much. You have a great day.